as a rule, Trump supporters do not subject Democrats to the same level of rage and contempt. There's certain emotions that go all one way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that the Trump supporters don't believe what they believe, but there's a demonization that is, they disagree, but it's not the same kind of vitriol or violence. There's a violence. I mean, which we're starting to see, especially on the left. Again, Minnesota notwithstanding. I mean, that's what's really scary to me about the self-righteousness, because, you know, the terms of opposition to this administration are such that there should be logically no limit to what you would do to stop it and to eliminate Donald Trump as a president, if not also as a person. That what is at stake is the existence of the country's form of government and justice and you know, the support of racism and he doesn't obey the rule of law. He's a Nazi. He's Hitler. All that stuff, all the stuff that they already used up in the lead up to the election, because they were just spitting with the same emotions, self-righteousness, fury, and contempt.
Mm-hmm.
And they just exhausted their vocabulary. But they haven't quite exhausted the fury. And I honestly think that constantly talking about the Trump administration in existential terms is an invitation to violence, because when your very existence is at stake, all bets are off. There is no limit to what you should be able to do, right? I mean, most of us believe that the people who failed to assassinate Hitler were brave, real patriots, and we wish that they had succeeded. But when you talk about Trump in the same terms, aren't you saying that that's how you feel about Trump? That if there were a plot to assassinate him, that you'd support it? I mean,
I think that's the leftist approach to all sorts of things. I mean, it's similar, I think, to ACAB, like all cops are bastards. You know, if you hate the police, then violence against or murdering the police is a good thing because they're so evil. You know, they aren't treated as regular individual people. They're so bad that they deserve to die. So does Trump, to their mind. So does anybody that they've labeled a fascist, really, because if you're labeling somebody a fascist, and like you say, you know, if you're saying you're a danger to my very existence, which is what the trans activists did, right? The trans activists said, you know, you're erasing our existence. You have blood on your hands. You're killing us. You know, trans kids, so-called trans kids. I don't believe in the concept of a trans kid.
there's no such thing.
No, but you know, they're going to die if they don't have access to these puberty blockers, this so-called gender medicine. And that justifies, you know, threats against the life of people like J.K. Rowling or me or, you know, whomever it is.
It's the same extremity of the climate change debate, which we're not supposed to have. There's not supposed to be a debate.
Well, it's the science. You don't believe in science?
Oh, no, I don't believe in science. Not with a capital S. Because, you know, the planet is in peril. We're all going to die. So there's no susceptibility to arguments like well, we can't make that much electricity, or this is going to bankrupt every Western nation, or, you know, if you just withdraw fossil fuels just like that, we're 80% dependent on them worldwide, the kind of famine, if nothing else, that you're inviting would kill many more people than climate change ever would. But no, I mean, because the visions are so apocalyptic and all of life is hanging in the balance, there is no argument. There is nothing you say can get through, because once again, your position is that this issue is existential, which is, by the way, one of the most overused adjectives in the world. But I feel that therefore, whenever you move into this absolutist territory, there's no point in talking, because you can't get through. You're dealing basically with fanaticism.
Yeah, and the strange thing about the approach to the climate change hysteria by the people who are hysterical about climate change is that there are also the same people who seem very anti-civilization to me. So you sort of are wondering what it is that they are claiming to or believe that they're trying to save.
It is something of a mystery what these people actually want. I mean, the left in the last 15 years has been almost perfectly negative. So we know that they don't like racism, unlike the rest of us. We love racism.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But it seems to be almost nothing that they actually like. And I don't think that they have any vision for the future. It's all dark. It's all apocalyptic. They hate their own civilization. They hate, West. They hate the West. None of them seem to be especially keen on moving to Nigeria. So as far as I can tell, they're planning to stay in the West, but they hate it and want it to fall. So on a purely self-interested level, it doesn't quite compute. They don't have any plan for a net zero world that makes any sense. So apparently we want to go back to horse and buggies. But nobody talks up being in a horse and buggy.